Have you ever wondered why humans are drawn to unpleasant events like traffic accidents or bad news? Welcome to the enigma of the human mind, a labyrinth of thoughts and emotions that often defies our own understanding. In this first segment, we'll venture into the realm of morbid curiosity, a psychological phenomenon that might explain our peculiar attraction to negativity. Morbid curiosity, as the term suggests, is our interest in dreadful incidents or unsettling information. It's a bit like watching a horror movie. You know it's going to scare you, yet you can't peel your eyes away. But why? Well, it might be embedded in our very survival instincts. According to psychological studies, our brains are hardwired to pay attention to potential threats. It's an evolutionary gift from our ancestors, who survived by being alert to danger. So when we watch a traffic accident or read a dreadful news story, we're essentially conducting a risk assessment, learning from others' misfortunes to avoid similar pitfalls. But here's where it gets even more interesting. There's another element at play called Schadenfreude, a German word meaning pleasure derived from another person's misfortune. It's not the most noble of human traits, but it's a part of us nonetheless. And it's not always about deriving joy from others' pain. Sometimes it's about reassurance and self-affirmation. When we see someone else falter, it indirectly emphasizes our own relative success. It's a form of social comparison, a way for us to gauge our own standing in the social hierarchy. So it seems that our fascination with the unpleasant is a complex mix of survival instincts and social comparison. It's a byproduct of our evolutionary past and our social conditioning. And while it might seem counterintuitive, it's just one of the many ways we navigate through the complex world around us. So the next time you find yourself drawn to a gruesome headline or a tragic news story, remember, it's not about being morbid. It's about being human. But what about our fascination with celebrities? Why do we care so much about people we've never met? It's a curious thing, isn't it? We spend so much time keeping up with their lives, even though we've never shared a meal or a conversation with them. Psychologists have dedicated years of study to this phenomenon, and they've come up with a few intriguing theories. One such theory is called a parasocial relationship. In simple terms, this is a one-sided emotional bond that we form with celebrities. We watch their interviews, read about them, follow their social media accounts, and gradually, we start to feel like we know them personally. We laugh when they're happy, cry when they're sad, and take their achievements as our own. But why? Why do we get so emotionally invested in these individuals who don't even know we exist? The answer, psychologists believe, lies in our innate need for connection. Humans are social creatures. Even when we can't form connections in our immediate environment, we seek them elsewhere. And celebrities, with their larger-than-life personas and seemingly perfect lives, make for appealing targets of our affection. Another psychological theory that explains our celebrity obsession is the social identity theory. This theory suggests that we often identify with celebrities who represent the traits we admire or aspire to have. For instance, if you're a budding musician, you might idolize a successful singer. By identifying with this celebrity, you boost your self-esteem and reinforce your sense of belonging to a particular social group. In this case, musicians. So, our fascination with celebrities isn't just about idle curiosity or wishful thinking. It's a complex interplay of psychological needs and social dynamics. It's about seeking connection, validation, and a sense of identity. We look to celebrities for inspiration, for hope, and sometimes for an escape from our everyday lives. In essence, our obsession with celebrities stems from our need for connection and validation. It's a strange, intriguing part of being human, and it's something that continues to captivate our collective curiosity. And why do we fear things that pose no real danger to us? It's a puzzling question, isn't it? It's because fear, you see, is a learned response. We're not born with a fear of spiders, heights, or crowded spaces. These fears develop over time, often rooted in our past experiences or societal conditioning. Imagine a child who has been repeatedly told that spiders are dangerous. The child grows up associating the harmless house spider with danger, and thus, a fear is born. This is a classic example of how societal conditioning can instill fear, but there's more to it. Our fears aren't always based on personal trauma or societal warnings. Sometimes they're shaped by the information we're exposed to, particularly through media. This brings us to a fascinating concept in psychology known as the availability heuristic. The availability heuristic is a mental shortcut that relies on immediate examples that come to a person's mind when evaluating a specific topic, concept, method, or decision. In simpler terms, It means that things that come to mind more easily are believed to be far more common and frequent than they actually are. For example, if you frequently watch news reports about plane crashes, you might overestimate the risk of dying in a plane crash. Despite the fact that statistically, air travel is much safer than driving, the vivid and dramatic coverage of plane crashes can make them seem more prevalent. This is why we may irrationally fear an extremely safe activity like flying, but have no qualms about getting into a car every day, an activity that's statistically more dangerous. It's a curious thing, isn't it? Our fears often don't correlate with the actual risks. They're more about our experiences, our environment, and the information we're exposed to. They're about what we perceive to be dangerous, not what is objectively dangerous. So it turns out, our fears often say more about our experiences and perceptions than about the actual dangers. So, how does social programming tie into all of these behaviors? Well, it's quite simple, really. Our behaviors, our interests, our fears, our obsessions, they're all shaped by societal norms and expectations. These norms, these expectations, they're like invisible threads pulling us in certain directions, influencing our decisions, our reactions, our very perceptions of the world. Think of it like a dance. Society sets the rhythm and we move to its beat, sometimes without even realizing it. We gawk at traffic accidents not because we enjoy the sight of misfortune, but because it's an aberration from the norm. It's something unexpected. We consume bad news not out of a perverse love for tragedy, but because it prepares us for potential dangers. We obsess over celebrities because society places them on pedestals. We fear harmless things because society tells us they're dangerous. In conclusion, our behaviors are a complex interplay of innate instincts, learned responses, and societal influences. Understanding this can help us better navigate our own behaviors and reactions.